And we have a yellow light. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again in New York. This is a crossover between um, werewolf and hunter. And we begin the scene where we left Cinna in Leah's apartment on the couch, hugging a bottle of whiskey. No, vodka. Hugging a bottle of vodka, being fast asleep. Um, she is now slowly waking up, moaning. Her head feels like something big, gray, stepped on it. Like an elephant, that was it. It felt like an elephant stepped on it. She slowly looks at the bottle, looks around, tries to remember where she is, what the fuck happened last night. And as she stares at the bottle, the memories kind of hit her, and she realizes everything that had been going on last night, and that was not, as far as she knows, some kind of weird dream. Probably first time she saw a wolf in Central Park wasn't a dream either. Hmm. So apart from the needing to run to the toilet to do the necessary disposure of substances, mainly vodka coming out of the wrong side of her body, she'll um she'll slowly start to dress herself up and looking around, and she realizes that she is at the moment by herself. Looks at the door, sees a mount of locks on the goddamn door, and she gives up trying to break that open. And then she looks at the window, and as she does so, she notices a fire escape at the ridge. She knows that this is not a smart idea, but she just needs to get away from it all for a moment. And as she realizes that, she also realizes what day it is. Friday. First Friday that they were gonna do the cleanup. The river. So she grasps her cell phone. A cell phone. Doesn't recognize the cell phone immediately, then realizes that this is the special cell phone. But still, that doesn't matter. There's time on it. She looks at the time and she kind of sighs with relief as it's only 9 o'clock. That's enough time to grab some coffee and see if she can get over to her apartment to at least change her clothing. She doesn't want to wake Leah because she might not let her go at this moment, so she decides to just go through the window. Fuck that. So she opens it up, kind of she has to squeeze herself through the opening. So it's not really that big. And as she stands on the ridge, she realizes that she'll have to jump a little to get on the fire escape, which she does um, after swallowing a little bit. And as she pounces on the fire escape and grabs hold of the rails, the pounding that her feet make on the metal echoes in her head, and she groans. She realizes that that entire bottle might not have been a bad idea at that time, but right now it certainly is a bad idea. She she doesn't really care at the moment, though. She needs coffee and she needs to get going, and she wants to do something, anything that has nothing to do with this. So she goes down, looks around. She's not familiar with the middle of Queens, where she is right now. And but there is a coffee spot on the corner, and It seems to be still very close to Leah's apartment, but well, coffee does sound like a good idea. So she goes over, rummages through her bag to find her wallet. Actually notices a strange card, Mr. Woods. Hmm. Puts it back and doesn't really think about it. She enters the coffee place. And, we'll order a coffee at the bar and some breakfast.
As she gets her breakfast, her cup of coffee, and walks out the door, perhaps to enjoy a bit of food on the patio, she inadvertently runs into somebody, sort of clipping them as they're walking with a brisk pace, probably not paying attention to where they're going, but that coffee cup of Cinnamon Harris explodes, being clipped and such. And immediately, a woman in a hoodie jumps up and down a few times as the warm liquid soaks through the clothing and touches the skin underneath. And a string of obscenities come out of the mouth as they're jumping, trying to brush the liquid off, just like shit, 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 fuck, fuck, hot, hot, and immediately sort of flings the hoodie off, the sweatshirt off, exposing some red skin, though the redness probably covered by a plethora of arm tattoos, as the woman just then looks up at Cinnamon's general direction, not really looking angry, but more annoyed, so to speak, and not necessarily at her, just at the situation.
Cinna, in the meantime, as well, you said the coffee cup kind of exploded, so her hands are soaked in coffee as well. She is not shouting because, oh my god, her head hurt it already. Now her hands also hurt, and her breakfast is on the floor. She just stares at it. It's not really a reaction that she would normally give, but she's too tired and too hungover and too stressed out to have this on top of everything else. So she just looks at it, then looks up. It's like, sorry.
From around a New York native?
No. Why?
I kind of figured, she says with a smirk, kind of half chuckling, as now the arm cools off and no permanent damage done. Oh, that was a little bit more excitement than I was looking for at this time of morning. Every time I've ever bumped into somebody, it's never anybody from town. It's always somebody from out of town.
Oh, I see. Sorry about your clothing and you. Are you okay?
I think I'll survive.
Okay, cool.
Just all the same, do you have insurance? Says with kind of a smirk.
Yeah, I do. Carton. Oh, right, yeah. Here. She opens.
The
Her
woman
bag
just
and
kind of
starts going through it.
chuckles slightly at her. Obviously not one for sarcasm, are you?
Huh? No. What? Sorry. Usually, my head isn't as vague as now, but fuck. Okay, can we start over this conversation after the coffee fell, and consider me asking very concerned whether you were okay or not, and let's take it from there.
Hold that thought, and Jenna will take the hoodie, put it up on one of the wrought iron chairs that are sitting out front of the coffee shop. She walks in and then comes back out a few moments later with 2 coffee cups and a cardboard tray of single serve sugars and creamers, and sits down at it and uses her foot to push the chair of the seat across from her out.
And Sina just looks a bit dumbfounded with a package of cards, business cards, in her hand at the moment. She just looks at Juno. It's like, cards here. Phone number, I might be changing that soon. Email, but I might be changing that. Actually, why the fuck am I even bothering giving you this card? Jesus.
You should probably sit down and have a sip of coffee, because you look like you're... Wow. I have met some people who are discombobulated in this city, but I think you just took the cake.
Normally I'm really not this. It's just some stuff going on, and I'm trying to place, but it's not really working yet. So, besides that, it's even worse to say. Trust me, I'm not an alcoholic, but I have a hangover. Oh my god.
Yeah, hangover in New York. Imagine that.
I woke up in a place that's not my own, and I'm having coffee in a place that's not my own, and for fuck's sake, I've not even been in the city for more than 2 or 3 weeks, and
Place not your own. Who's the lucky guy? Or
I
girl. Or both.
no, it was just a friend, I think.
Oh, how very modern of you.
This is not really making it any better, isn't it? Oh, God.
The fact that you're still standing there and gawking and stumbling over your words, no, it's not helping. Maybe you should sit down, take a breath.
Yeah. I'll do the second round, because I threw coffee over you, not the other way around, so you shouldn't be paying for the coffee. Right. Hi, I'm Cinnamon, but just call me Cinna. Everybody does. She sits down and extends her hand.
Jenna will take it and give it a firm but gentle handshake. Juno.
Well, I would say nice to meet you, but I guess at this point it suffices to say I wish we met under better circumstances, not spilling coffee and everything else.
Well, hey, that's how all the best stories always start, You, person that you meet, just happen to run into, had no intention of talking to, and then next thing you know, it's like, hey, Juno, come over for Thanksgiving this year.
Thanks. Oh, right, yeah, you did Thanksgiving here. Mm-hmm. Huh. Yes. So, anyway, I do have a spare t-shirt in my bag because I never go without one.
She kind of looks at her own shirt, which is largely unaffected. It was just the hoodie. She shrugs. Well, normally I wear long sleeves to go a little bit more inconspicuous because I would get stopped. People asking about the ink. But screw it, it's summertime. It was getting hot anyway.
As Sina just throws a random black shirt, short sleeves, towards Juno, and well, you can see that she has various tattoos of her own, so she kind of shrugs. Well, it's not that bad.
Huh.
Oh. It's good. So, you come here often? Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get my head back in the game.
Well, look, if you're gonna end this by like, hey, we should go have dinner and a
Oh
movie.
no. I'm not looking for no. It's just you're offering me coffee, and I'm just trying to. I'm really bad starting conversations when my head is someplace else, and I
Not so good at maintaining them either, but I'm enjoying your company all the same.
Sorry.
No, a native of Queens. I live here. I've been
Oh,
out of town for the past, almost a year. Been out of town.
I'm so happy, actually, because you can tell me how to what's the quickest way uh, to Long Island. Where's the nearest bus stop, or subway, or tube, or
We
train?
call 'em the train here or the subway, whichever you prefer. But yeah, we don't call them tubes here.
Eh, Yeah, well, origins,
Like you're not gonna and she points at a trash can. You're not gonna call that a bin, are you?
No.
Good, because then I just have to kill you.
Oh, right. I guess sarcasm is kind of lost on me at this moment.
Gina will pick up her cup and take a drink out of it. Yeah, that's the way it seems, but it's all good. It's all gravy.
As I said, normally I'm a little bit more upbeat. But if you would be kind enough to point me in the right direction, that would be awesome.
Depends on where you want to go. You're not
Home,
from around here, so
Long Island. It's as soon as I know, as I'm like on a bus to Long Island, I'm pretty sure I'll find my bearings again. I did not pay attention last night when we drove over here, mainly because I was working on that hangover, and I have no clue where. I know we're in Queens, and I'm very happy I know that, but that's mainly because of the street signs, actually.
why do you want to go to Long Island? It's kind of a shithole.
Well, my apartment is in that shithole, so yeah.
Well, and she'll lift her cup towards Cinnamon. My condolences.
It's not bad, and the apartment is well bigger than I've seen them here.
Well, that's because they like to charge an exorbitant amount over there, so they can afford larger places.
Mm, I don't necessarily have an issue with that, but well, just I'm totally in love with my I have the rooftop garden. It's awesome.
Yeah,
You
you
know.
should think about living here in Queens. I mean, think about it. What would you do if you never saw another cockroach again or another rat?
Yeah, yeah. No idea. Pretty sure that I'll see those more often than than the average human. And no,
Gina's gonna
I don't work with pest control, by the way.
Gina's gonna her nose will twitch slightly at Cinnamon just saying more than the average human, given her experience, but doesn't pay it much mind as she sits back and takes another cup of coffee, sort of shrugging it off. So, what? Do you enjoy walking around in the alleys and in the subway tunnels looking for roaches and rats?
Well, it might be an interesting project. Maybe that.
Depends on what you mean by project.
Uh, I'm a I gotta sound silly again. I'm a photographer. I usually I work for newspapers and everything, but I also do my own thing. Just making exhibitions and mainly about urban nature. So yeah, you would actually see me crawling behind a rat just to get that right picture.
Well, if you wanted urban nature, you could always check out the botanical gardens in the Bronx or anything east of the suburbs of Long Island. Go into the city, Gramercy Park, Central Park. I mean, there's plenty of places to get pictures of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but they are all created.
True, but you're talking about urban nature. That's everything's created
Well,
around here.
maybe I should say urban versus nature. A cockroach isn't created. If anything, they want to get rid of it. Right now, I'm doing a project on the Hudson River. The river is not created. It's paved
Again,
in the right
my
directions,
my again
but
my condolences.
well, I guess to each their trades. Guess
Well,
you
I'm just
work in
saying,
a
I've lived
beauty
here my whole
farm
life,
or
and
something.
you could not pay me enough money to swim in the Hudson or get near the Hudson.
Who says I'm gonna swim in it?
You're just gonna be near it. Trust. Well, you know what? You're gonna experience the smell. You'll be alright.
I've already, I've, I've already been on the Hudson. We took a boat and we went to explore and to see what trash they throw into that river. And I'm now working on a project to raise awareness for that. And I'm working on an exhibition and everything. Actually, in a few hours, I should be in Manhattan because we will start off our first, hopefully, if we have enough people, voluntary cleanup of the river.
Well, that's nice, I suppose. I mean, everybody needs a hobby, right?
Hey, that hobby is at the moment worth 10 million.
10 million to clean up a riverbed of one of
No,
the dirtiest rivers on the planet outside of the Ganges.
no, 10 million for the exhibition fundings. That is.
So you're telling me you have $10 million? Well, I clearly have not been nice enough to you.
It's not mine. It's definitely not mine. No, I don't have the money myself. I have a company sponsoring me for, you know,
For
making
ten
sure
million
that.
dollars?
Yeah, I know, insane, right? I did not expect that, but well, so yeah, I can really make a difference. I hope we can invest in companies who will actually look into a good way to or to get the pollution out of the river and to make it more clean and keep it clean. And hopefully, if the citizens of Manhattan and of New York itself will be made more aware of what they dump in the river and how that affects their environment and their surroundings and their entire ecosystems.
Well, again, it's a nice thought, but how can I put this? Um, a lot of New Yorkers are definitely pro-environment. At least they say they are. Let's say that 75% of New Yorkers are environmentally conscious. That's great. About, let's say, 40% of them might actually vote that way in an election year. And then of that 40%, maybe 20, half of them might actually, donate some money. 5% of that might actually get up on a weekend early to go out and clean up, and then that other out of that 5% that are willing to do that, maybe a half of a point of that percentage would do it again the next weekend.
I know. Uh, but the thing is, it's not just that. It's not that people need to clean up the Hudson. That's not going to work. This is not going to work, especially not with all traffic that is on the river. But um, if companies get funds to find a more ecological, responsible fuel for the ferries, if people should just if there's more money to put dustbins, trash cans, trash cans next to the river so that people won't throw everything inside the river anymore. If we look at our drainage and our sewer systems, everything, there are so many options that won't necessarily involve people going out and cleaning up the river. That is just the part that I want to have in order to raise awareness for people to actually vote for the right system or donate to the right companies or stuff like that. And um, and I want my trash Godzilla.
Your what?
Oh, it's part of the art project. I make pictures and I also build statues from the rubbish that comes out of the river. So I'll recycle everything that comes from the river into a statue or two if we get enough.
And you're going to make Godzilla out of it.
Yeah.
So can I ask you a question?
Am I mad? Because I
No.
think at this moment I would have to answer yes.
No, I just wanted to know, did your parents like insist in you walking barefoot around and wearing like hemp clothing?
No.
Did you ever live in a something that they referred to as a commune?
No. Well, I did do a news article about it at some point early in when I just finished school. It's
Okay.
quite interesting, but it wouldn't be for me. Too tight knitted.
So that's where it comes from. Okay.
What?
It's just activist sort, I suppose, right?
Well, you could call it that. Basically, it's good. Maybe yes. Maybe I'm what you call an activist. Maybe I should be a member of Greenpeace and be on a boat and trying to save whales. But if no one does it, then in 2 or 3 generations we'll have a serious problem. Now, I don't necessarily care about those generations, but those problems are starting here and now, and it is not necessary. That's the biggest issue. It's not necessary.
Well, in order to change what you want to change, you'd inherently have to change human nature and not being lazy and selfish.
Well, exactly. That's why I'm having the voluntary, you know, cleanups, just for people to realize what stuff is all in the river and what you can find in it and how that is for the birds and the fishes that are in there, which we eat, by the way.
I have never eaten anything from the Hudson, and I don't plan on it.
How do you know for certain?
Because I don't have an ear growing out of the side of my neck.
So you don't know for certain. Maybe you have an ear growing in your shoulder, but you don't know because it's like under the skin.
No, I'm pretty sure that I don't have an ear growing underneath my shoulder.
You get the point.
A little. He just seems like, as much as it is a worthy cause, it seems kind of like a waste of time cause.
Look, every time I manage for a person not to spit their chewing gum on the floor, but in a trash can, is a time when I matter, when I made a change. That's what an artist is all about, making a difference, making a change. I mean, you like tattoos, right? As do I.
No, I hate tattoos.
Okay. In that case, I think you did something terribly wrong with your life.
I could literally go for about 4 or 5 hours telling you the poor life choices I've made, but go on.
A tattoo stands for something, usually. Yeah?
Yeah.
If even the most vain of reasons, namely, I like it, means that you do something with it. So it's a form of art. It is an expression, but it's also you, people put a tattoo on their body because it gives them something that they want, or a satisfaction, a feeling. That's why I think people who, I don't know, I've never really spoken to someone who makes tattoos or designs them and everything, but I can imagine that they do that to matter in a person's life. I mean, you've seen those shows, right? The Ink. I don't know. Did you also had a New York Ink at some point?
Hmm.
Yeah. What you hear those people say who are doing that work is like, we want to matter for that person because the story behind the tattoo is so important. Because and that's what I'm doing. Only I use a different medium, but in the end, I want to matter to the world and to the people. And if someone says like in 10 years that was so awesome, and after that I became even a little bit more aware, then I would be happy.
Just seems like a waste of time if not everyone's going to do it. Like, what's the point? If I stop throwing trash in there, the 10 people that didn't, is it going to make my lifestyle change, matter all that much?
Well, that might be if you would, if your trash would have killed one bird and now it doesn't, and that bird gets to lay an egg, and from that egg you'll have another bird who gets to lay three eggs, you might actually be saving a species. All because you decided for once not to throw your garbage in the river, which I really hope you're not doing, by the way.
Well, the occasional dead body.
Oh, well, those decompose by themselves.
Well, it also depends on the kind of corpse I throw in there. If I throw some, uptown lady who's been having plastic
Yeah,
surgery since the
you'll have the
60s,
Botox. Oh my God, yeah.
yeah.
No, I'm sorry, I don't like that, but yeah, no. Well, at least you catch you catch what the point that I'm trying to make.
I do. Just call me a cynic. It's more inspired than what I do on a daily basis.
Hmm, That's, I don't know. Call me an idealist then, or a dreamer, or I don't know. As long as you don't start with whistling that song, Imagine, because I've heard that a little bit too much lately. What do you do for a living then?
Tattoo artist.
Haha. What do you do for a living?
Oh, we've got jokes. No, that's literally what I do for a living. Making decent money now from doing it. I've gotten around.
You're shitting me. I just give you an entire thing on tattoo artists, and I'm actually, oh my God, I must look like a fool. Again,
Well, you
how
know,
often do I manage to do that in 1 hour? Jesus fuck.
well, you're up to 13 now by my count, but
Oof. Well, let's make it 14 because then that way at least, yeah.
no, I'm a tattoo artist.
Uh-huh. Cool. So, do you have like a portfolio or something? I'm sure you don't have it with you, but it would be interesting.
Actually, I just cleaned out my locker at my old place. And she'll reach down into her bag and pull out what looks to be sort of like a photo album, but with single pages in it, and she sets it in front of Cinnamon.
Hmm. Is she wants to open it, and then her stomach starts to make this sound. She's like, "Oh God, I need to eat something." Um, do you need breakfast?
Sure, why not? I can eat.
Cool. Then give me a moment. Let me get some breakfast. And she walks in, and she returns a few minutes later with a tray kind of stashed full of food. I completely forgot to ask what you wanted, so I kind of took something from everything.
Some kind of breakfast sandwich would be great.
She places the tray on the table and also already holds up 2 doggy bags. Like, I've asked these because I think it's gonna be way too much, but well, so if you can't eat everything and there's leftovers that you like, just put it in the fucking bag. You know, it's the least I can do for pouring coffee all over you in the middle in the morning. And well,
Yes, because that was all your fault.
I wasn't really watching, was it?
You weren't watching, I wasn't watching. I'm used to people just sort of having an overt understanding of the rules of New York sidewalks. We all seem to be able to migrate without having to look where we're going.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess I still have to learn those.
You just gotta develop your radar. That's all. But anyhow, and she'll open up the portfolio, and you'll see a lot of very exquisite work, shading, coloring, all of those emphasized.
And Senna is just brushing through them. Sometimes she stops and she brings the folder up close just to check it out. And it's awesome. You know that in was it New Zealand that the Maori still tattoo like with in the way that they've been doing for centuries.
Yes, and there are certain artists still in Japan that go by that old practice too and charge an exorbitant amount of money for their tattoos.
I know, but still, it would be kind of cool to maybe at some point.
What?
If I ever get truly famous, I might just do something like that.
You don't need to just because it's done a certain way doesn't make a tattoo any greater than another one.
No, but it's it's the experience in itself. I wouldn't just go there, uh, be a rich bitch, lay down an enormous amount of money. I would like to. I don't know. Go completely native for like a week or a month or so, except for the photo camera, and just make traveling reports from it. There are I'm sure there are travel magazines who would sell that. So yeah.
Hmm. Considering on getting any ink these days?
I'm always considering, but the idea just needs to hit me. It's like I love ink, but I'm not just gonna put ink for ink on my body. I'm gonna put ink on my body because there's something that I want to express.
Yeah, I could
And
see you with a Pinkie Pie or Rainbow Dash tattoo right on your ass.
we all make our mistakes.
I just see a certain cockeyed optimism in you that's refreshing, to say the least.
It helps to talk about the projects, yeah. It's, I don't really feel like the big optimist at the moment. Usually I am, but yeah.
Well, how rough was last night? Like,
Oh God. No, it's wow. And you find out that your entire surroundings and group of people that you're starting to get to know. I've not been in New York for longer than 2-3 weeks. Did I said that already, right? And you find out that they're nothing but a bunch of dogs. It's just, oh, it kind of feels like they've been making fun of me the entire time, and I don't know. I don't know. It's just, it's like an entire new world has opened up, and they forgot to tell me for a while that I was part of that world. And I know that sounds very crazy, and it's not. And trust me, there's nothing to do with drugs or anything. It's just, it's not necessarily like that, but it's that feeling, that there was something you've been missing, but that's been hanging like right there in front of you, just out of your grasp. And in the meantime, everybody around you knew that. That's only then a little bit worse, I guess, or not. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. Actually, I don't want to think about it anymore. I'm just gonna continue doing what I was doing, and that's working on the exhibition, and just doing my actual work. And I think it would be very good to just work for a while. Maybe going detox a little bit.
Well, you certainly become more lively since you started talking to me, so, yay, coffee.
Coffee is always good. Food is good as well. She'd been stuffing, in between speaking, she'd been stuffing food into her mouth. If not, a headache would stop. That would be awesome.
Ah. Well, I'm sorry that you found out that your people you knew are a bunch of dogs. That's...
Yes, I'm sure everything will work out at some point. It's just at the moment I'm kind of done with everything. So, but yeah. Normally I would say I would run away again, just going to the next place in the next town and then work on the next shoot or report or exhibition. And now I don't feel like that, so not gonna. Well, I
What's
still at least have to finish the
what's
Hudson.
different now?
I don't know. I really don't know. I've never been one to stay for a long while. I've always, after a few months, been like, I had to go. Well, maybe because it's just a few weeks, or because New York. I've never been to New York. I've been to a lot of places, but not New York yet. So maybe that. Maybe I don't know. I'm waiting for a second chance, an explanation, an apology.
From
Maybe.
what? From who? What did these people do to you?
Uh, you really don't want to know.
She looks at her
Besides, it's not
arms.
like
She looks at
we
her
know each other.
arms, then looks up at Cinnamon. Yeah, because I've never been mixed up in any weird or socially compromising shit.
Sinna, first she's following her gaze to Juno's arms to see if there's anything special there. But
You can roll perception and empathy if you want.
why not? You can always have a look. Besides, it's not a scene if we don't have at least one botch from me. Actually, believe it or not, this character has empathy.
Empathy.
Not an awful lot, but still enough to get a success.
You notice that she looks at specific spots on her arms where there are sort of a multitude of different designs that come in together. nothing necessarily discernible with one success, but she's definitely looking at a certain spot on like her forearms. There might be a few. Yeah, do you have any law?
Huh? I don't think so.
Okay, yeah, then just
No.
mostly symbols,
I have occult, computer
not
technology,
those kind of symbols.
investigation, academics. Nah,
Yeah.
no law. I need to get that. And finance too.
Okay, your shit.
Yeah.
No, come
Huh.
on, be a sport. What do these people do to you?
Nah, it's as I said. I really don't want to talk about it right now.
Well, aren't you just a stick in the mud after burning the shit out of me out here on the street?
Oh, come on.
Oh no, you totally gone into that territory of just a totally terrible person.
Okay, that's cool. Then I'm a terrible person. I don't care.
Well, you'd be in good company.
So why are you back then? You said you're gone. Why you come back?
Because this is
I
my
only
home.
Yeah. So I only go back home for Christmas if I'm not working.
Um, maybe lack of a better option. I don't know. Just decided to come home. I ventured out for a while, saw some things, did some things. Some of the things I'm proud of, some of the things I'm not.
But that's how traveling works.
Yeah, it was an interesting experience, but at the end of the day, when it was time to come home, it was time to come home.
If you feel like that, I don't know.
Besides, I should probably look up my. I wonder if she'd even really be considered my ex at this point.
Well, maybe she already found something else. You don't know.
Well, it's entirely possible that predator she is.
Oh, wow. Talk about story there. You want to see her, yet you call her like that?
She represents something for me. A lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of effort.
Let me guess, it all went down the drain?
Uh, Not necessarily. I mean, definitely some lines with her that I crossed that I promised myself I never would. Did things that I said I would never do. And yet, for whatever drove me to it, I decided to cross those lines with her. And an interesting experience, I have to say. But
Well, sometimes you need to push your boundaries, but, well,
I don't know. You ever get the feeling that sometimes if people knew what you were up to, the things that you did behind closed doors, they'd think less of you?
I'm I'm not really a behind closed doors type of girl, you know? It's
Oh, come on. Everybody has their secrets. I mean, you're already keeping some right now. People are
fair
all
enough.
stingy with information, you know.
It's not like you're any better. You don't lay your life out on the table. But no, it's we all have our secrets. We all have our skeletons. But yeah, I never really care much. I try to be what I am and what I want to be, and I don't try to hold anything back in that. I will be what I am, and if you don't like that, then you can find someone who will play pretend for you. You know, so I don't hold back in that regard. So I would not hold back in when it comes to who I'm dating or who I'm seeing. I mean, oh God, no, my parents have been so embarrassed by me. But well, what do you want?
Yeah, because I wouldn't understand a thing about that now, would I?
Mm, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure my dad's rolling his eyes about me somewhere.
Well then, I mean, even if your own folks already know, then you should not feel ashamed of anyone.
Oh God, no, they don't know. I'd never let them know about the things I get up to.
In that case, we're back at what I just said. I'm not like that. I try. What you see is what you get, and maybe I'm holding back on things that happened. I would not hold back on who I am.
And who are you, Cinnamon?
I'm Cinnamon Harris. I'm a photographer. I am this at the moment an idiot, a hungover, stupid idiot who is maybe a bit naive and a lot of an idealist. And me here, right here.
Well, I won't refute any of the things that you just said.
Hmm? As I said, I'm not that hard to get.
Maybe
Not
that's
in that
why it's so easy to enjoy a cup of coffee with you.
way. I mean, honestly, what's the worst that could happen? It's a cup of coffee.
Jeter does seem to sort of stare off at that like a 1,000-yard stare, and face becomes a little bit more intense. Yeah, what's the worst that could happen?
Well, I know what the worst thing is that could happen.
And what's that?
You get bad coffee.
It's New York, sweetie. All the coffee's bad here.
Well, then the worst happens anyway, and there's not much you can change about it. So just run with it.
My outlook on life.
We all need a motto,
I
I guess.
think my motto is going to be fuck it.
Literally or metaphorically.
Both.
Great. Well, to each their own. Don't let me get in the way of your fucking.
Yeah, I don't think that'd be a problem. You met my ex, you wouldn't want much to do with her, I'd imagine.
I'm not easily scared of people.
She's a biter, and not like a gentle biter.
Well, then bite back.
Trust me, I've thought about it.
Well,
It was this one time we sat there and beat the hell out of each other with hairbrushes.
really. And you were 16?
This was like a year ago.
Wow. Okay. No, that's cool. If that's what you like, if that's what you're into, who am I to judge?
Yeah, yeah. We had our moments. I don't think anything ever got nasty between us, but they got interesting, to say the least.
Relationships are always interesting. That's why for now, have always preferred to stay out of it. I mean, especially at some point when, the itch starts returning again, and I'm like, I want to go. It's usually not a lot of blokes who are like, well, I'm coming along. Even if they are, some I don't necessarily want them along.
Maybe you're looking in the wrong gender.
Maybe. I don't know.
Wrong age
I'm
group. Wrong demographic. Trust me, if you're willing, Miss Harris, somebody out there will scratch that itch for you.
No one scratches my traveling itch. I like my itch. It keeps
See,
me
I'm not
going.
sure what kind of metaphor that was right there, or if that was a metaphor at all.
I'm not having any kind of weird diseases, if that's what you want to know.
You know, would you necessarily call herpes weird?
Well, it's not something that is an itch that I would like to get rid of.
Well, I think if you had it, you'd have a hard time getting rid of them permanently anyway.
Yeah, I know. But no, it's just the itch was a metaphorical itch, and yeah, I don't necessarily need to get rid of it. I like it when at some point I'm like, yeah, I'm finished here. Let's move on. It's like you're always searching for something, but you learn so much along the way. I
know a
that.
fair amount of people who think that way, believe it or not.
That's cool.
But well, Miss Cinnamon, my coffee cup is empty. My breakfast sandwich is nice and eaten.
Yeah, and I need to go because if I need to go to Long Island and then be back in Manhattan on time, oh God, it's like, why last night? That's the only thing. It's like, if there was one night where I was just planning to, read a good book, have a cup of tea on my in my garden, and then go to sleep, I would have been yesterday. Instead, I decided to go to art gallery, and it all went down after that. But anyway, don't let me keep you. If you ever want to, it's just here's the card. I'm not quite sure if I'm actually keeping the number, but the website is still okay, and there's a blog there, and well, what have you not? So take it if there's anything that if you would like to help. I'm gonna organize these cleanups probably a few times more this couple of weeks. So yeah, if you ever are interested to help out, feel free to drop by, leave me a note, and I'll send you the details, I guess. Although they're all over on the flyers, and those are all over the town. And yeah, see you around, I guess. Thanks.
You're welcome. Juno kind of shrugged.
It's good to just talk about
Bullshit?
Yeah. So, yeah, thanks.
Juno will consider something for a moment. Damn, I wish I had a cell phone at this point.
How can you not have a cell phone?
Because I canceled mine before I left, and now that I'm back, I'm sort of without one.
Oh, good luck with that, I guess.
I'll find a way to get in touch with you. Maybe we can go out and have like a proper drink. Just not in excess, because apparently you can't handle your liquor.
No, usually I'm a bit better, but circumstances, But no, yeah, that why not? As I said, websites, and there's usually a an email address there as well that you can always use, and that way we could get in touch if you wanna. And the cell phone number is still on the card. I just don't know how long I'm gonna keep it. I might just,
I'll find you one way or the other.
Cool. Yeah. Well, you were right about one thing.
And what's that?
Bumping into someone while holding coffee often leads to interesting conversations. By the way, which way was it to the nearest bus stop or subway train?
There's a train station just a few blocks down that way. You can't miss it. It's the set of stairs that go down in the middle of the sidewalk.
Yeah, I get that.
Non-New Yorker, non-native. I get it.
Anyway, thanks for the assist and the company, and I'll see you again.
See you later, Sin.
And yeah, Cinnamon will walk off.
And Juno will walk off as well. I think we can call that a scene.